everybody, it's Chef Nicole. Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm here on behalf of the Kitchener Market to share with you guys a delightful vegetarian recipe. If you have a look at all of the vegetables in front of me, you can see this is going to be packed with goodness, so much flavor. I can't wait to share this recipe with you. Even if you usually have meat in your diet, you are not even going to notice that it is missing from this recipe. So let's get started. One of the questions I get all the time is about seasoning your pasta water. You want your pasta water to taste like the sea. So you want to add in enough salt that it will taste like seawater, and then that is going to flavor your pasta while it's cooking. It's actually the only chance you get to season the pasta itself, so you don't want to miss that. For my dish, I am using bow tie pasta. It's one of my favorite ones. It's really going to hold up to all of those vegetables, and then we're going to make a sauce. It is going to be so delicious. I haven't shown you guys an onion demo for a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys today. The first thing you want to do is cut off the one end, but you don't want to cut the root end off. You want to slice through it and then peel off the skin. Leave that root end on. It's going to help it hold together while you cut it into your dice. Actually, you know what? For this recipe, I think I'm going to just do it in strips. So I'm going to cut off this part that's not very good on that. All right. If your cutting board's a little bit dirty after cutting the onion, just give it a quick wipe before you start chopping so you don't accidentally end up with any dirt in your dish, okay? So there's two ways you can do this. Maybe I'll show you both cuts that you can do, and then you guys can choose the one that you like the best. So the first one is to just go over the top of your onion in slices. You're kind of going in a little bit on an angle, but you're making pretty thin slices. And then once you've cut all the way across it, then you're going to trim off that root end. And so here I have these pieces of onion. You see they're a little bit bigger. If you want to cut them in half, go ahead, or you can leave them a little bit bigger. Totally up to you. For me, I think I'm going to cut them into a few smaller pieces. Another way you can do this is to just cut it into thin rings this way. It does help you to make it a little bit easier to see how thin you're cutting it. So if you want to do it this way, you can do that as well. And I'm just going to keep working my fingers back away from the edge of the knife until I get right to the end. And again, cut the little root piece off. I want to show you guys a little bit of a different way to cut up your peppers. Normally, I cut the bottom and the top off. I'm just going to show you guys another way you can cut your peppers and still keep all your seeds inside. This way is actually a really nice way to cut for this dish because it gives you those nice long curved pieces that are going to look just great in the pasta primavera. So in case I didn't tell you what we're making, now you know. One more time. You still keep all of the seeds together and not all over your cutting board or in your dish. Just all together. There we go. And then I'm just going to cut these into a little bit of thinner strips. I'm not going too thin. I want lots of great texture. You guys have probably seen in my other videos, I talk a lot about like slicing food or things on the bias. I really like to do that because I love the amount of surface area it creates. So when you're cooking, you get some really nice color on your vegetables. So that's why I'm doing that with my zucchini, but feel free to dice it up if you prefer. I'm going to leave it in big pieces. I'm going to be adding in some asparagus to my recipe. You can see some of the stalks are pretty thin, and then we do have a few that are a lot thicker. So what I'm going to do to deal with kind of the woody bottoms of the asparagus is, one, you want to break it at its natural breaking point. That's step one. And then the second thing that we're going to do, just to get to a little bit more of that tender inside, is we're actually just going to peel a little bit of the bottom of our asparagus. I'm going to be adding my vegetables in layers because they don't all cook at the same time. My pan is heating up, so I'm starting with my red onions. I also just want to let you guys know that I have drained the pasta. It cooked to al dente. It's a couple of minutes under where I wanted to finish because we're going to finish it in the pan with our vegetables and our sauce. So you do want to take it out a little bit early. Do not rinse your pasta. You want the starch to stay on your pasta because that's what will make the sauce stick to it. And I also reserve some pasta water as well to add to it just to loosen it up a bit if I need to at the end. Next up into the pan is going to be my peppers. I'm going to reserve the zucchini for just a little bit. I am going to add in my carrots. I'm just putting them in here. And then, time for the garlic. You never want to add your onion and garlic in at the same time, especially when your pan is as hot as this. What's going to happen is the garlic is going to burn and it's going to get really hard and turn bitter. So make sure that you add your garlic in a little bit after your onions so that it stays soft and fragrant and delicious and not burnt. I'm adding in the zest of 1 lemon. I'm going to use the juice of probably 2, but I'm just zesting 1. Whenever you're zesting, make sure you only take off the yellow. We don't want any of the white. It's going to make it really bitter. So just be careful as you're working through it to make sure that you're not incorporating any of the white from the lemon. And then I'm going to show you guys a really cool trick on how to get all the juice out of your lemons. I was watching another cooking video the other day and they showed a great way to juice lemons, limes, and all of those things without one of those juicers. And I've been sharing it with absolutely everybody, so I thought I would take the time to share it with you guys now. So most of us have a pair of tongs in our kitchen, and this is what you do. And you just give it a good squeeze. Ooh, that was a really good squeeze right through the lemon. Wow. All right, and you're just gonna come both sides. Watch your fingers. And then one more time. I already juiced 1 lemon ahead of time just so you guys don't think we got that much juice from 1 lemon. I did juice the other one already. And then if you have any little seeds in there, you can always just use a fork or something to take them out. I'm adding in about half a cup of white wine. I'm going to make all it's going to mean is a little bit of white wine. We're going to let this reduce down. I'm going to add some butter, and then we're going to stir in our pasta, the lemon juice, and then I'm going to finish it off with some Parmesan cheese. All right, so we have our wine reducing. Next, I'm going to add in my lemon juice. Probably don't need all of it. Once the lemon juice is in and I give it a bit of a stir, I'm going to add in my butter. Oh my goodness. I wish that you guys could smell this. If you're making this at home, you know how amazing this smells right now. I'm going to add in my butter, give it a swirl. And essentially, this is going to be our sauce. We're just going to finish it off, like I said, with some Parmesan cheese. But this is essentially all that we're doing. That delicious lemon juice, a little bit of butter. All these vegetables don't really need anything heavy on top of them. That's why we're not making a heavy sauce. I'm going to toss the pasta into this. My cherry tomatoes as well. And just let it all finish cooking together. The pasta has cooled down a little bit, just so you guys know I'm not like handling super hot pasta with my hands. Although these ones are going to need a little help to get in there. That's probably enough for this pan. The most important thing here is you don't want to overcook your vegetables. You still want them to have a bite to them. So that's why we're working fairly quickly to get everything mixed in here. I'm adding my halved cherry tomatoes into this. You do always want to have your cherry tomatoes because you just don't want them to break open when you bite into them. That would be very hot. So you do always want to cut them ahead of time. And here we go. some delicious Parm cheese. Isn't it great that this all comes together in basically one pan? You have the pot for the pasta, then you just have one pan that you just build everything in, and then that way cleanup is a breeze. As a mom of 4 kids, I don't want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. I'd much rather spend my time eating or cooking, not doing the cleanup. So I love these one pan dishes. Oh, this dish smells amazing. The vegetables are tender but still firm when you bite into them. The last couple things I'm going to add to finish off this dish is some sun-dried tomatoes they're already sliced. Actually, why don't I just add in that oil too? That'll be a nice little addition. And then I'm going to finish it off with some green onions. Like I said, this dish is loaded with nutrition and veggies. Don't forget, guys, our herbs pack lots of nutrition. So you can, when you add those to the dish, they're not just garnish, they are adding a ton of nutritional value to your meals. Oh, I gotta grab a plate. I've got to serve this up for you guys, and then I've got to dig in because it is just like calling to me right now. I'm gonna grab a plate and show you guys how to plate it up, okay? Here's the plate. I love to make a pretty dish. You guys know this. If you've been watching my videos at all, I always like to make it look pretty. So I'm gonna add just a few extra herbs on top, and then maybe a tiny bit of cracked pepper. All right, I am gonna give this a taste. It looks so good. I definitely did not take a TV bite. I just totally went for it. It's lemony. It's got that little bit of cheese from the Parm. It just is so fresh. And this is such a great time of year to make a dish like this. If you guys want to make this dish vegan, you absolutely could. Just use your olive oil instead of butter in the sauce. Add the lemon juice and everything exactly the same. If you want to add a cheesy flavor without adding any cheese, you can always buy some nutritional yeast, which you can find in health food stores. Guys, I hope that you guys have enjoyed tonight's recipe, that you make it at your house. Make sure to come out to the Kitchener Market to pick up all of the wonderful veggies that you saw in this dish. They're open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Food hall is open for takeout. The weather is beautiful. Many of the vendors have moved back outside. They can't wait to share their delicious fruits and vegetables with you. And it's the perfect place if you have questions about a new dish that you want to try. Talk to the vendors. They are going to know best the right meat cuts, the best cheeses, and the best way to prepare them. So head on out to the Kitchener Market, support local, support the vendors, and enjoy some delicious food like this. We look forward to seeing you guys online or out at the Kitchener Market really soon. Have a great night.